Carine Clark is a 4-time president and CEO of high-growth tech companies, specializing in helping companies scale from 10 million to 100 million or more. Her reputation as a data-driven market executive at Novell, Altiris, and Semantic, is that how you say it? Semantic? I said that right, yeah. Open doors to lead Allegiance, Marty's CX, Banyan, and Embers as the president and CEO. Sorry about that. Clark serves on the executive boards of GOED, which is the Utah Governor's Office of Economic Development and Silicon Slopes. I join her on that board, a nonprofit helping Utah's tech community thrive. And she has received many awards, including the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award in the Utah region and Utah Business Magazine's CEO of the Year. She earned a bachelor's degree in organizational communication and an MBA from BYU and enjoys traveling, exploring, and doing, I love this last line, doing hard things with her family. Thanks so much for coming.
Can I have the clicker?
Oh, thank you.
It's like the first time she's ever done this. We'll see if that'll stay. I hate that intro because I wish people would say, oh, she's just a girl with big hair who likes to do things. I had to cut my hair because people are making too big of a deal about my hair. So I'm so happy to be here tonight. I love coming to functions where there's a lot of really smart, amazing women, and also young women. I spent a lot of time working with the youth. I spent a lot of time trying to help young people understand that they're so much stronger than they know. And the reason that I like to do hard things with my kids, I have 2 sons, so I live with all men. I work with all men, so that's why I like to come to functions like this, is that I want my sons to understand that they can do hard things, but I need them to be super resilient because we all have so much power. So the World Economic Forum, which gets together every February in Davos, Switzerland, we used to go, we're trying to solve for women's equality. And they decided that there would be equality in 118 years. I'll be like 170. So we got to fix that. A few weeks ago, I spoke at an event that is called the Global Forum for Foreign and Direct Investment. Super boring. I was the funniest speaker there. I'll probably not be invited back. But I got to talk to Peter Zion, who wrote the book, The Accidental Superpower. If you have any interest in like futurist look on the world and the planet, it's a lot of fun. Anyway, he's a super smart guy, so I'm like, Peter, the World Economic Forum, blah, 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 118 years, like that seems like a really long time. So he's like, oh, Carine, they're not right. There will never be equality for women. I was like, gosh, that's longer, right? Never? He said, no, because women are the only people that can have children. So you're always going to have to take yourself off the conveyor belt. So I don't accept his premise. So I need all y'all to leave tonight understanding how powerful you are. And I'm going to give you some things to think about, ways to keep your power, grow your power, and not for evil, but for good. And then have you leave tonight all believing that you can lift as you rise in your personal life and your career, no matter where you're at. So I met with a group of women that had horrible, horrible circumstances, horrible lives, and even they can lift as they rise in their personal life and their career. So we're actually super powerful. We just forgot it along the way. Because think about it. Every human that has ever lived on this planet was born from a woman, right? Nobody else can do that. Like we birthed the entire planet. We've raised the entire planet. So why aren't we running the planet, right? So we got to fix that. We got to fix how we think about challenges. We got to fix how we respond to things. We got to fix how we work, right? And it's okay to feel the fear because I'm actually an extreme introvert. So I'm down there thinking, how can I get out of here without having to speak? I'm sitting in my car for an hour like, okay, you can do this, you can do this. And my friend Ruth Todd over here, who's a professional speaker, she's like, there's no way. You wouldn't be that funny if you're an introvert. I promise you, extreme introvert. And there were things I did as a young person where I gave away my power. I didn't speak up. I was paralyzingly shy. And when my mother asked me to return a can of tuna fish at the IGA at the ripe age of 7, I went in there and bought another can with my babysitting money and put the other can in my back pocket. And that can of tuna fish was in my underwear drawer for years as a reminder of what a chicken I was. I got bullied all the time. I gave up my power, and it wasn't until I lived in Germany, my parents left me there like an orphan, and I lived by myself, that I realized it's no fun to be the person that has power and doesn't use it. It's no fun. So I'm going to give you some things to think about today. One thing you have to do to protect your power and to grow your power is to choose courage over comfort 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Apply for those jobs, even if you don't qualify 100% for them. You may not get the job. Doesn't matter. Apply anyway. You may be afraid to go to MBA school. You may be afraid to finish something. You may be afraid to challenge someone. Do it anyway. I'm not saying don't be afraid. I'm saying acknowledge it, and then you got to push through it. Because the people that win are the ones who stand up, stay on the conveyor belt, and don't take themselves off. Too many times we let fear determine our fate. So in high school, I didn't go to anything. I didn't go to bonfires. I was a loser. I was a 6-foot-tall loser in high school. And I was convinced that the world didn't need me. I played basketball, I did a lot of sports, but I always sat by myself, and I was okay with that. It turns out that my superpower now is not succumbing to peer pressure, because I didn't have to respond to it when I was in high school. But I missed out on a lot of fun things. So I saw that I was letting fear determine my fate. And when I started figuring out that you just had to speak up, you just had to show up, you just had to have the courage to go and do something. So I think of fear as the beginning of courage. When I'm fearful of something, it's like, okay, I got to use some courage, and I'm going to push through this. Because every single one of you will have hard things in your life. I'm telling you, the fastest way to get through it is to just move through it. So don't let fear determine your fate. But you got to practice using courage over comfort, right? So one of the authors, I read a lot, so you'll see pieces of different authors in here. I don't ever have an original thought, except for the women burying all the children on the planet. That was mine. But Brene Brown talks about courage over comfort. She talks about times that she messed it up, right? She talks about times when she was afraid. We're all afraid. Guess what? Do it anyway. And practice your voice. So courage over comfort's like going to the gym. You don't go once and look perfect, right? You got to keep going. It gets better. It gets easier. So learn phrases like, help me understand, right? If you're having a debate with someone, instead of saying you're wrong, say things like, I'm not convinced, right? Because that's very powerful. You're saying, I have an opinion. It matters. I'm not convinced. You convince me. Because people will crawl over dead bodies to convince you. And when you say it, it's like, wow, that really works. If you get in a tough situation where you don't know what to do, just ask questions. I'm telling you, I've asked questions to the point where they're like, just give her what she wants, right? Always, always listen to your voice, okay? That is, your voice, we push it down too many times. And for the young women in the audience, I want you to understand something tonight. I want you to take this with you. No is a complete sentence, okay? No is a complete sentence. There's no, right? We don't teach our young women this. No is a complete sentence, right? You don't have to explain. Okay. One of the most important things that we have that's actually a nuclear power that we dismiss and discredit so often is our intuition. Okay, so I want you to think about your intuition. Have you learned to trust your intuition? I think intuition is something we don't ever really talk about. They're like, oh, women's intuition. No, intuition. Right? I talk to my kids about this. Intuition is every single thing you've ever seen, heard, done, read. It's all in your brain, all in that gray matter. And it gives you the answer, but it doesn't tell you why. That's what intuition is. It takes all that information and says, here's what you got to do. And you're like, I don't know how I know this, but I just know this, okay? Too many times people don't listen to their intuition. Just like the gym example, you got to use your intuition all the time. You got to strengthen it. You got to learn to rely on it because it is a nuclear power. Because your intuition will never go against your own best interests. It may not always be right, and it may not always be perfect, but it will never go against your best interests. So start practicing listening to that voice and making sure that you're like honoring that voice. So too many times, I am so thirsty. I have no idea. It's probably because I'm super nervous. I gotta have a drink. Too many times we know the answer, but we don't honor it, right? And then later we look back and go, gosh, why didn't I do that? There's a book called The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker. Every woman should read it. It's about personal safety, by the way. I read everything. So it's about personal safety. And I love a lot of his things that he said. But he says in there that most crime victims, if not all, of serious crimes, the women, when they deconstruct the crime and go back, there were indicators that they didn't honor, that they didn't pay attention to, and that they wish they had. Okay, so don't push those things down because culturally it makes sense. An example, you're in the basement of this building, super dark, creepy garage, and the elevator door opens, you're getting ready to go up to the lobby. There's a guy in there. Your intuition is like, nope. But we don't want to hurt his feelings. He could be a mass murderer, and we don't want to hurt his feelings, right? Like, that's a cultural thing. And I can't tell how many times I'm like, yeah, I'm good, I'll get the next one. Oh, no, please, no. Truly. Why would I get in a soundproof box with somebody I don't even know? They're like, okay, close the door, right? It's okay. That's standing up for yourself. Think about times when you walked into a room and you're like, something's not right, right? It happens to me all the time. Something, because my children use all my stuff and never put it back. That's part of it. But like I'll go in my car and I'm like, something's not right, right? Because your brain knows. It will never go against your own self-interest. So start practicing paying attention to that intuition. It will give you access to all kinds of power. My children used to think I'm magical because I use my intuition all the time. And now that they're grown, they think I work for the CIA because they're like, how does she know this stuff? Because your brain is paying attention even when you're not. Oh gosh, went too fast. Did I go past? No, I'm good. Okay. I'm like, okay. Imagine a world where all the women we knew were powerful. Imagine a world where we decided that we were going to make a difference, that we weren't going to be afraid, that we were going to stand up, that we were going to challenge each other, that we weren't going to let things just happen and be all super passive aggressive, right? We were going to take things on. We were going to have a voice. We were going to honor our voice. And that we would never leave a room, a situation with any regret. Because the thing about me that wasn't in my bio is that I'm actually a cancer survivor. So I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and cancer of the appendix in 2012. I did 18 months of chemo. That's not for sissies, by the way. And so I already know I'm going to die. And it's like the greatest gift anyone could ever give me. So I thank the cancer for that. But I live a life with no regrets because I don't let things go unsaid. So I had 3 friends die on the same night 2 weeks ago. 3. I'm like, really? Y'all couldn't spread it out? 2 super close, 1 by suicide. And I don't have any regrets because I'm sorry that these things happened. I'm kind of mad at the suicide one, but I was always myself to those folks. They knew exactly how I felt about them. They knew that I cared about them. They knew that they knew me. It wasn't like some brand me. They knew the real me. And so for me, I choose courage over comfort 100% of the time. It's not always easy, and you're going to get knocked around. But I promise you, it's a much better way to live. And you will find it's super powerful because nothing is hard for you. And once you figure out, using your intuition and using your superpowers, that nothing is hard for you, then all of a sudden, nothing is hard for you. And when you decide nothing is hard for you, you are unstoppable. Because it turns out that impossible is an opinion, not a fact. So when you leave tonight, you got these great workshops. You have so many people that are going to give you information that you just need to put into your brain, your mind, and say, how does this impact me? And are there things that I'm doing to give away my power? Am I not speaking up? Am I the person that has the meeting after the meeting, right? People that come to me, they're like, oh yeah, I had this really good idea. I'm like, stop talking to me. You need to tell me in the meeting when people can contribute to it, right? Because too many times, women especially, we have the meeting after the meeting. So I want you to be paying attention to your own life. How you doing? What kind of score would you give yourself? Do you choose courage over comfort? Are you paying attention to your intuition? And do you let things stop you? Because when I was a kid, I let everything stop me. I didn't try out for anything. I didn't want to do anything because I was afraid that I wouldn't be good enough. But it turns out that we are all enough. So thank you.